Welcome to the latest edition of Shelf Life Book Reviews online. Thank you as always for coming here to watch my video, and hopefully you will find it informative, and the book that I'm about to present to you is one that you will very seriously consider purchasing. And you can see I have my Beatles t-shirt here. Actually, this shirt was given to me by my mother back in about 1964, and it still fits all these years later, nearly 60 years later. And why I've got the Beatles t-shirt is because I'm reviewing The Beatles, the definitive collection by Terry O'Neill. This is published by Weldon Owen, and it retails for $60. What really hasn't been said about the Beatles? There's been so much written about them, but this is the Beatles in pictures. Terry O'Neill was considered to be their official photographer, and for nearly 50 years, when the Beatles were part of, in the group, and after they disbanded, Terry O'Neill still was taking pictures of them. And actually, he took his first picture of them. He was sent over. He worked for a paper called The Daily Sketch, and he was sent over to Abbey Road Studios where they were recording, and he was asked to take some pictures of them. So when there was a break in the recording, they went out into the backyard, and he took pictures of George and John with guitars, and Paul and Ringo there with their instruments as well too. So he went back to his editor, and I guess there was a slow day for news or something, or photos, so a photo he took of them appeared on the very front page of the Daily Sketch. Well, that issue sold out. It sold copies like never before, and they could call it the very first press photos actually of the Beatles. And Terry O'Neill became very good friends with all of them. Now, throughout the book, there are well over likely over 200 pages or pictures of the Beatles on these pages, and when they were a band and after, like I mentioned. He's got photos of them doing a TV special where they're in parkas. They did a parody. They were looking for the Abominable Snowman. They also did a Shakespearean sort of parody where they dress up in odd costumes like lions and whatever. So, but the Beatles were always happy to oblige the photographer, and Terry O'Neill was like I said, the official photographer. And there are pictures of him, pictures taken by him of Paul and Linda McCartney when they were a couple. There's pictures of George Harrison sitting in his backyard. Ringo Starr when he came to America and appeared on Laugh-In. There's pictures of him with Ruth Buzzy. And there's also photos of the wedding of Ringo Starr and Barbara Bach, where some of the other Beatles came for the wedding. I think John had been killed, and they got married after that point, Barbara and Ringo. And so, like I said, the book is just packed with classic Beatles photos. These have never been seen before. The majority of them have never, ever been seen. And there are still supposedly a lot of lost photos of the Beatles that Terry O'Neill took, and they're still trying to track them down these many years later. Sadly, Terry O'Neill died in 2019, but his legacy lives on through books like these. And if you were a Beatles fan, if you are still a Beatles fan, you will be amazed by the photos. It'll bring back a rush of great nostalgia, especially the 60s photos when the Beatles were first starting out. So this is definitely a classic coffee table book. It is well worth the $60 price tag. I think there's close to 350 pages or more. So there's one photograph after another, post-Beatles, during the Beatles, and it's all about the Beatles. So you will love this book to the max. Love the book. The Beatles saying love, love me do. Well, it's love the book, because this is definitely a book that you will add to your collection. And if you have Beatles fans, you'll invite them over to look at it too. So that is the publication I wanted to share with you today. If you do purchase it, please let me know if you do agree with my assessment of the book. I think you will. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for watching my Beatles t-shirt. And until we meet again, stay safe, stay sane, stay in touch, and I will see you at the bookstore. Bye for now.